Is that the intro?
Yes. What have you done? Okay, welcome viewers. Welcome to the stream. As you saw in the title and thumbnail, we'll be creating an app. Now, this app is going to use pure JavaScript, nothing like React. It's just going to use pure JavaScript only. Yeah. And some of you are asking, how are we going to achieve this? We are going to achieve this using a library called EJS. Now, EJS is embedded JavaScript, so we're just going to embed JavaScript. It's going to look a bit like ordinary HTML, but you'll see what we'll do when we get to that point. So, I'm going to watch you live. No, come. So, I'd like to introduce my hosts. Okay,
My name is Emmanuel, and I was actually hoping for this to happen because, in particular, I have a lot of questions about JavaScript. That is what we were working on. So right now, my brother Aiden is going to show you how to make an app. Enjoy.
so as I was saying, we are going to make the app using pure JavaScript. We are going to use server-side rendering and not client-side rendering. Client-side rendering is the rendering everybody used to HTML, CSS, yeah, a document object. Everybody is familiar with that, yeah, HTML, yeah, and what we are doing is server-side rendering, meaning that we are going to use the module express to create a server that can send information back and forth and get information from other places and also receive information. So can delete data. You're going to see all the fundamental methods of REST. Yeah, REST means representational state transfer. REST is commonly used when you want to send things to server back and forth. So we send a JSON request, and then the server responds with a JSON response, and the JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. So JavaScript Object Notation, and these big servers that are made are called APIs. APIs stand for Application Programming Interface. So an application programming interface is just like a normal application, but it's used programmatically. So let's dive into it. So I have my browser here. Show you. So you can see I opened the NASA API by simply going to api.nasa.gov, and when you're here at this website, you press get started because you'll be using the NASA API to make something like we are making a near object near earth object, which a neo app, which stands for near earth object. So it will be scanning for near earth objects. We get a response from the API and we put it on the app. Okay, so I want you to click get started. Now it will ask you for your first name, last name, email, your application URL, which is optional. So if you want to update if you've already gotten a URL for your application, you can put it in there, and then you click here sign up, and this will redirect you to this page here, your API key, and then it gives you this API key so to make request, and give an example on how you're going to do it. So this one is api.national.gov, and then you put this question mark, and this question mark stands for an optional parameter in a request. So in a request we have the request where you're sending it to, the server URL itself, and we have the API key. Now API key is used for authorization, because they don't want just hackers to come and just steal the information without authorization. So there's that authorization. That is why they're asking you for your first name, last name, email address, and application URL optional. So right now you can see everything hourly minute. So hourly minute, 1000 requests per hour, meaning we'll be able to do 60 requests per hour. But we won't be doing a request every few minutes. We're not doing any set interval stuff. We're just doing one request, per visit. Meaning that if we have 1000, meaning if we get too many requests, the API will refuse us from making any other request. So we are going to learn something called caching. So you're going to cache your website for a certain amount of time. So in a day, we know that 24 hours, and you can make 60 requests per hour, meaning 60 times 24, which is 1440 requests. So we just get a little bit above the 1000 requests per hour we're supposed to have. So meaning that we can cache it, maybe to compensate 20 minutes, because you don't need to update every single minute. You can just send one request, cache that data for a moment. Like we only need to update hourly, so we only update hourly, meaning we only take 24 requests. Or we can update maybe we can make every 30 minutes, so meaning that will be cut down in half. So 1440 divided by 2 is 570. So we'll have 570 requests per day, which is an optimal number. So we can say every 30 minutes we are going to make a request. So every 30 minutes we are going to make a request. And we want to set that every 30 minutes we'll be making a request. Meaning when we are going to cache our data, so we're gonna cache it for around 30 minutes, and then after that we are going to send another request. So when we are going to send another request, every time the caching runs out. That means every 30 minutes. So 30 minutes is how many milliseconds? How many seconds? So 30 minutes divided by 60 seconds. So 60 seconds. You're going to see that 30 minutes to seconds, you're going to see that the result is something like 1800 seconds. So we can keep it 1800 seconds. Now 1800 seconds to the milliseconds, and you set that to milliseconds, it's going to be 180,000 milliseconds. We can keep that data in 180,000. Yeah. So all of this, how do we do this? So first, I'm going to create just a new Firebase project by going to console.firebase.google.com. We wait for it to load. We can add a project. You can see I have a couple. So now this project, I'm going to call it Neo Tracking App. So Neo Tracking App. Okay. I'm going to press continue. Then it's going to ask me if I can add Google Analytics for this project, which is recommended. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to press continue. We can select or create a Google Analytics account. I'm going to create it, and this one is going to be called Neo Tracking App. So Neo Tracking App, same as the app name. Neo Tracking App. Analytics location. Right now I'm in Kenya, so I'm going to just set it to Kenya. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, Kenya. And here you can see use the default settings for Google. I can untick this, and you can see it will have bring a lot of things. So share your analytics data to include Google products and services. Share your analytics data with Google to enable benchmarking. Share your analytics data with Google to enable technical support. Share your analytics data. Just leave it like that. And then you have to accept the measurement controller data, protection terms, and you have to accept the EU and user consent policy. This is required to share when sharing Google Analytics data to improve. Make sure you are and you can also check these terms out, so you can open them in a new tab if you want to. And you can see the policies here. These are the policies, the consent policies. And then there's this controller data protection term. It just looks all of the terms. So all of the terms, you can look for the terms there, and then you can press learn more if you want. And then you have to accept the Google Analytics term itself. You have to accept those terms, service, and wait for it to create your project. And give me any other suggestions for tutorials, so as it is loading our project. Okay, here we go. Our project is ready. Now we press continue, and now it's going to take us to our project. Now, depending on our Neo Tracking app, all we want is these functions. Okay, not authentication, will just be in these functions. You're not going to be dealing with authentication, no. And first it's going to tell us that you do npm install -g Firebase 2. Okay, then you can come back here, and you can see you press Firebase init and Firebase deploy. So let's just do exactly that. So I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Neo Tracking App. So tracking app, and yeah, it works. So Neo Tracking App, and this file name matters. Now for something like this, it will not matter, but something like Angular React, That will matter. So keep your folder names in mind. Okay, let's try open Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is not opening. Oh, it's opening. It's opening. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Let's just come back. Now let's just drag it in here and put it there. Let's wait for it to load. And I'm using Visual Studio Code. All the links are down below. Link to the Firebase console is also in the description below. So if you want, you can make it. Oops, I forgot to. Looks like I forgot to. Really, here we are in our new tracking app. So what we want to do is there's a way. Yeah, let's just wait for it for the command terminal to load. So as it loads, we're just going to get everything set up. A boiler build it for us. So as we wait, okay. And we're waiting for this to load. We're just going to come back here, and you can see it's waiting for our fast deploy of functions. And then there's this health. There's this health. So any errors in your functions to tell you your logs, your usage. But we're going to use Firebase init, so we're just going to use. Yeah, we're going to use Firebase init functions, so meaning that we'll release our functions, and now they're 0, but there'll be some usage statistics there. Let's come back here. Okay, here we are. So you type Firebase, yeah, because I already imported it with npm. Now, if you do not have Node, just go to Node.js. And here's the website. So here's the website, nodejs.org. So when you go to nodejs.org, you can download the LTS version or the current. Now, I recommend you download the LTS version because it's in long-term support. So LTS means long-term support. That means that version of Node is going to be supported for longer. And this current version 14.8.0 is going to be not supported very long. The feature might change and it becomes unsupported. Okay, well, the LTS updates. Keep that in mind. So we're gonna do Firebase init host functions. Functions. What's this? And I'm going to press enter. That's going to initialize for functions. Now, Firebase init functions is just going to initialize our functions. You're going to see it's going to do a couple of things. After this, I'm going to create a Git repository for this project. So all our script files will be there. Yeah, and then I'm going to put. You're going to join my GitHub at. I'm going to put a link to my GitHub. Yeah, I'm going to put my link to my GitHub as well. Let me just do some things. Just wait. Okay, if it doesn't work, let's go to CMD. Let's go for CMD command prompt to action command prompt. So you don't have to do anything special. So CD desktop. Also gonna CD to the Neo tracking app. So tracking app. Hope I don't get an error. Okay, here we are. Now in our Neo tracking app, we can use Firebase init functions, because it's taking forever to do it in the VS Code command prompt. So we're just gonna do that. We're going to remove the empty bin, and it's going to init app for our functions, taking some time as well, but it's something for new npm. It's something using Node, so on a command prompt might take a little bit longer. Maybe, let's see. Looks like it doesn't actually work, the initializing. So if the initializing doesn't work, just follow me carefully, because any step will remove it in the installation process. So you can do functions. So this functions folder. No, not a file. I need the functions folder. So a functions folder. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm going to close that, and I'm going to create a folder called functions. So functions, and inside that folder we are going to create a views folder. So a views folder, and then after that, in this functions folder, we're going to add something. So we're gonna add a script.js. So script.js, make sure you follow it carefully. So script.js, else you get it right using its contents. If you open up the functions folder, you're gonna create a script.js, and inside there we're gonna create another folder called views. Sometimes Visual Studio Code does that thing where it does /views. Later on that we want to eliminate that. So in our views folder is where we are going to do all our EJS. So let's do carefully. Yeah, you're gonna delete the script.js because you think that it's it's good. That's a folder. So now in our script.js, as we wait for our terminal, you can just press enter to speed up. Looks like this, we're not gonna use Firebase, so looks like we'll have to resort to plain JavaScript, no Firebase things. Just gonna make a views folder. So views, nope. And for testing, if you have the REST client extension in VS Code, which I'm using, so you can use server. Maybe we can make a server.rest because we're communicating with server. So once we have that, we can make a GET request just like that, and you can make it to https://api.google.com, api.nasa.gov/ so we're gonna put, and we're gonna append, like in the NASA website they're saying, like in the NASA website, can go all the way up. You can see you're going to do everything about the URL, and then you put your API key. So comma API underscore key equals, and then we're gonna make it in a string. So we're gonna just copy our API key from the NASA, and we are going to paste it in this. So we want to post a request. I think the get keyword will still work. Okay, and we want maybe /browse. So you're gonna see that here we can you can see here that we have some parameters, and you can see there's a get request, so we can get a new /rest/v1/new. So /rest, I think it's /new, yeah. So first /new, so /new slash, so /rest, and then it's not dot rest, it's /rest, and then slash v1/new, so v1, so they have their API, so v1/new, and that should be able to send a request to it. So we press that, we should be able to send a request to it. Okay, so you can see that this REST API can, and you can see that for referring method not allowed, request method get not supported. What if we try and use a post request? Gonna send that request, gonna close this old response, gonna send request. We're gonna try and send a request to them again to get a good response. Okay, go on. I think that I know why, because you have gotten to the wrong directory. Let's try again with our API key. Can't make 1,000 requests by just /browse. If you use the browsing route, you try and send a post request to it. We can do this good. It allows it allows a get request, so we can write a request. So let's try and get a request from here. Let's try here if we can get what we want from a get request. So this one is much shorter, and yes, it works. You see 200 that code, so 200 is fine. 100 something wrong with your code, and 500 is the server crashed. So you can see in Excel, you can see this JSON response, this huge JSON response. Do you see this huge JSON response? And we don't just browse. I mean, we can't just browse, because when we just browse, you're just looking for random things, and it's not about that detect if it's showing the potential linears. So yeah, we have new, and you can see this JPL page shows some. So you can see that optionally limits. So limit by object characteristics, and you can see that you can decide something not equal to. So we can say the distance that near as near, I think near asteroids orbit, and you see the distance. You check the distance. So you can see this. So anything that is, we need to know what is the distance. We know a few million kilometers, so we can say 10 million kilometers. So we can limit the distance. So if distance kilometer is less than 10 million, so 10 million, 10 0 0 0, so 1 2 3, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, so that is 10 million. So if it's less than 10 million, then what do you have to worry about? So if it's orbit, you can see Ataria, and these are everything. So you can see step 1, and you can see that these are optional parameters. So when you want to do /new, you can do a slash, and this time you can put another question mark, and this time you're gonna see, you're gonna just say, so /new, so /new, so /new, so /new, then question mark, yeah, because these are optional. So /new asteroid, and then you can make a slash. What else? What else? Slash. What else? So we say the slash, and we make sure the spelling of asteroids is correct. Asteroids is correct. So asteroids, because this is going to be key. So asteroids, and then we're also gonna use a slash, and we're gonna put a question mark again because it's an optional parameter, limited and numbered state, which will be numbered. So slash, so again slash numbered, and then again slash, and to look for another slash. What else? You can do slash Ataria, so slash question mark Ataria, literally Atira. And what else? We're going to also select, we put so we're gonna put something else. So slash, we're going to be starting them by category, so less than 10 million, so 10, and less than 10 million. So once it's, so if we put the count, so we can say distance, we can put the kilometer sign like that, and then less than 10 million, then we're just gonna put another slash, so we're setting it up, these parameters, and we're not gonna put any we're going to see here that we want everything, so meaning that we can have this, but we don't potentially add that, so we want this, so object full name / this. We can see that the diameter, and we need the, what else? So we need the full name / designation, and then you're going to select this. So we're gonna, we can have some sorting algorithm. but we want everything else, and we can just send a request. Once we send a request for it, forbidden. Oh, I think we're supposed to attach the parameter there. Now that should work. That should work. That should work. Tell me that works. Stupid. 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 So we can have API.nasa.com. We can put object group. I think it is. We want to sort by the object group here. So object group. So you can have object dash group calls. It's being done programmatically. We can put equals new. Don't need this question mark asteroids, and then object dash kind. So object dash kind equals asteroids. Let's put what else? Put numbered state. So we can put numbered dash state. So numbered, you can see numbered dash state. This is how APIs do it. So, and this is just testing. We're actually going to use a library called Express, and we're going to get everything we want. So slash, and then you can do slash limit to select. You can see asteroid orbit class. So asteroid so asteroid. So asteroid object class. So object class is so object dash class. There's no documentation for this. The only way you know is by guessing, programmatically how to do. So distance km is equal to 10 million before, and finally there's our API key. So now that should work because it's forbidden. It is not good because there's no API key, so it's looking for one. And let's try removing this. So we are testing and seeing how this will work. Okay. Of course, we have to change everything else to lowercase because it doesn't. JavaScript, it does not. Okay, there's no always been a string. So if we just try and send a request, let's try and send a request to the browser. Let's see how it is. So okay, so view slash object group equals new. So we have to make that in small letters. Let's try and try and edit the curves because maybe in the editor it's kind of dark. So let's see. Let's work it out. It's just bringing an XML file, even though we have authorization. Oh, object kind. Please, mistake. Let's see. Because I see it here, that you can see example query. Do they have a docs? So you can see this is the query parameters. Oops. So you can that is so simple. I forgot something that stamped us for like 30 minutes. Come on, that is so bad. That is so bad that that is so bad. Oops, yes. Now we're just gonna we're gonna set it like that. The thing is not equal to, gonna get our API key from NASA. So gonna get our API key, something that stamped us, and there was a simple solution. Okay, so now you can have start date, end date. So you can see that we have a default for this query parameters. So 7 days after start date. So we can now provide an end date. Let's actually do it from scratch. I think we're ready, so we're gonna install Express as our library of choice. We're going to use JS. It's fine. So the setup is simple. It's very simple. We don't have to don't need an end date. You're going to see that this is taking long, really long. So as it's installing Express for us in our script, I think I installed it globally. No, I didn't. It's going to just try and update it. Nothing will happen. Nothing bad will happen. So require Express. Let's see the Express module. Let's see if it works. Now typing Express. I'm just making sure that it works. Okay, const Express is equal to require. Now if we can require the module itself, Express. Looks like I already imported Express. Why did I bother to import something that I already imported? Now we don't need EJS. So we'll be needing EJS. So making sure that it's installed globally. So npm i -g EJS. So we're just gonna install the EJS library. Gonna see why. So I'm going to we're gonna make a constant called the app, and this is how we initialize. We set it to the Express variable, and by default it's a function, so we can initialize our app, and then we can now just, but there's no package or JSON. That's the problem, so I have to use npm init. So now we have to wait. New tracking app. Wait. New dash tracking. Let's just make it the dash tracking. Version, description, entry point. And yes, that's okay. And we're just going to add a package.json. But now we have to mpai dash package lock JSON. Hashes.log. Only, so if we can only install that, it should work. Now once we have installed our module, so this one is giving our package.log JSON.ready. Yeah, we're gonna install it on Node, so it's gonna work well. We're gonna put app.get. So we're gonna have the okay, let's just leave it. Just Control C. Just call this board. So you're gonna use app.get. Yeah, so you want to get a request. So we're gonna get a response from our request. So our request, that's our API key. Don't worry. Now we can do https / and you can take that server.rest URL. You remember the rest URL. Now we're gonna just leave it only way like that. This is why it's useful. Now we can just paste the URL from NASA. It's good. Don't need the slash, and we need that. So we can now, you can see, you can put our question mark there for our API key. And because we have template strings in JavaScript, so template strings in JavaScript, what we are going to do is start it up. Yeah, you guys are still there. Okay, you're still there. Okay. Our start date. Okay, so what we do is we're gonna, because this can be in string notated, you're just gonna insert the date. We use the date class, and if we put the dot, you can see now the two string, those are all the static variables. So what we have to do is we have to const date equals to a new date. Now by getting a new date, you can get more. So date, and then after that you can say const today. So equals date dot get. So you can see get the note will get they do. You get the day of the week, and it will be a number. But then the start date. What's the start date? So the start date, for example, it's saying 2015-9/07. That means so we can say const ER. So const ER equals date dot. So you can say, but it would depend. So we're not gonna use instead you can make a variable const dot date. So index equal 0. This will always be doing this forever. So while you can add any code under this is unreachable, but it's always going to do this set number of times. We're gonna use the set interval method. So we're gonna make a function called set interval. So we're just gonna set an interval. So we're gonna set an interval, or maybe 30 minutes. So and it uses milliseconds. So meaning that we have to change it to 180,000. So 180,000, and we're gonna put this to our pointer function, so an arrow function, and this arrow function is another way of writing functions in JavaScript. Or you can just use the original. Function keyword if you're interested. But arrow functions save a lot of time. Just have to do that, and we don't have to pass anything in, and we just have to do that. And now this is where we write our code. So what will happen is that our get request will happen. So just Control Z. It's a cool feature we have at Visual Studio Code. Now we're gonna just do that. Now we're gonna set interval again. Yeah, let's set interval, or maybe 180, 1, 2, 3, and then after that we're just gonna put a function, and we're just gonna do that Control V, and we're gonna use the set interval function. Now for get requests and post requests and all of that is going to lead to an arrow function. So we're gonna make a response dot, we're gonna just JSON. So we're gonna turn it into a JSON, get it ready for JSON, and now the response that we get. For now, let's just put a request parameter and a response parameter to become more obvious, so that our response can be used. So response.json. Now really we have to take a request and a response. Really, we were going to take, once you turn that response into JSON, we're going to make it even more simpler, because we're just gonna make it into a JSON. Now we'll only take response like that, and now that is our get request. So we're gonna make a variable. We're gonna just, right now we're just gonna log out the response before even setting up this interval thingy. Interval machine, we're just gonna have no index, nothing. Nothing, just nothing. We're just gonna have our get request, and we're just gonna console log it. So we're just gonna use the console. We're gonna be nesting the functions inside themselves. So console.log. We're gonna log. What are we going to log? We're gonna log the response to .json. So we're just gonna console.log response.json. We're not gonna console all the app.get stuff. We just want this. Because we've already done our get request, so we don't need anything else other than just the function. So be consoling.log the response.json. We're gonna use app.listen on port 5500, so import 5000, and on port 5000 we're gonna make an arrow function that will console.log listening on port. This is basically, we are going to return console.log listening on port 3000. This is just a return statement, so port, and we're gonna just going to 5000, meaning that is working now. And we're gonna see that if we run it via node, so you just do node it's script.js, it's going to work, and we're going to wait. We're going to see that it's going to be listening on port 5000. So now if we go to our local host, on our own computer, you can see that to be on 5000. While it's refusing to connect, it's listening on it. Let's see, why is it 5500? Oh, forgot that it must be 5000, and it shall work. You're not Google searching it. We are going to show you localhost 5000, not for searching. No, not 5500. Just put 5000. Good. Huh? Finishing. Yeah, I'm still far. Okay, so you should see this cannot get slash, but if you try and put that, we're going to use the post prefix so it works. And we're not gonna just change it into a JSON. We're just gonna make a variable called let response. So let response, that is the keyword for the variable. So response equals, we're just gonna turn it to undefined for now, and then you're gonna just put response. So we're gonna put response be equal to that. So be equal to that. So we're gonna do response.json, and we need to make another route. So up.get, immediately when the server stands up, we're gonna get slash, and then you want to get slash. We're gonna do that. We're gonna just res.send the response. So response. So we're gonna just send the response. So we'll take in the request parameter and the response parameter for our server. So the request parameter is just the request, and the response is the response. And the response.send, we're just going to turn it into, just gonna send it. So we're gonna send it the response variable. Yeah. Let's just change it to response 1 so that we can change it. That we don't confuse the computer. Now let's just Control C to exit out of the server, to shut down the server, and we can run node again. Node script.js, and it's now listening on port 5000. So that's almost it for this series. So for this series, this is almost it. We'll be sending some text to some. It's good, cannot get slash, but it's supposed to work. Let's make a more specific route, maybe because we have to restart our server. So maybe let's make it /t. Let's make another route called /t, and now node script.js. It's listening on localhost 5000. So we can use localhost 5000. No, not 5500. Okay, I'm gonna localhost 5500, 5000. Naturally, it's 5003. It's saying cannot get slash because you haven't set the collected. But if you do /t, good, no JSON. Okay, let's just try and reload. We have been able to get the T root. We're gonna get the 3 root, and looks like it doesn't want the. Oh, I think we have to do something here. It only accepts strings. So it's gonna make sense that we're gonna get our response parameter in, and it should work. And now it should work. So node script.js, and we're getting somewhere. So localhost 5000 /t. So using the T root, you can see that it's an object and it returns undefined. Oh, we have not just yet interacted with the API. This object undefined is good, yeah, because if you have gotten all the values from the post request, to trying a post request from NASA API, it worked. So see you in the next episode for this series. Yeah, in the next episode. So bye. Yeah, sorry I wasn't able to manage to order the Q&A session. So